Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Open test 7.3. Of course, we have the Swedish tech tree from tier 6 up until tier 10. So we're going to have a quick glance at these tanks. We're not going to go through the stats. We're going to save the stats, etc., and the proper gameplay for when the tanks are released, and we can review them. So the tier 6. Tier 6 looks pretty solid. I mean, it doesn't look anything special. The STRV-74, you can see the turret there is pretty solid. That's about it. There is a bit of an error with the tank where if you shoot under the gun, where I'm shooting now with HE, we're just trying to see if it works. If you shoot just under the gun, even though it says it's red, it still pens. It still pens right under the gun. Literally there, it still pens. So I've sent it to Wargaming. I've just pretty much said, like, is this supposed to happen? It's a red hit marker, but it is still penning. So STRV-74 seems a good tank. Nothing, but again, it doesn't seem anything special. You're going to be HE'd from the rear, so do be careful of those KV2s and those smashes, the SU-152s, because you're going to get wrecked. So not a bad tank. But I mean, it just looks like a normal tier 6 tank, if I'm honest, nothing exciting. And the same goes to this tank here, the Leo, the tier 7. You can see there, pretty solid turret. I mean, the weak points are at the side, but you go hold down and you sort of wiggle your weak points, and the bottom plate is very easy to pen. There is also a bug with this one where you shoot just above the gun, as you can see there, and it still pens. Again, I have sent that to Wargaming because I don't think that should pen. Doesn't pen every time. We're going to bounce there, but you can see Fizzy on the enemy team, he's shooting me in the same place. So again, I think it's going to be an okay tank. I don't think it's going to be nothing special about this tank, especially as there are quite a few tier 7 tanks out there. I mean, the Dracula, the Type 62, these kind of tanks, it's not up there with these kind of tanks. You're going to be HE'd from the side, which I think we're going to show you as well. Well, you can HE yourself from the side. So the tier 8 heavy tanks, the big tanks are easily going to be able to just wreck you from the side. So be careful with that. It's a hold down kind of tank. Definitely a hold down kind of tank where you just wiggle your turret. Now this one, the Emile one, it's an auto loader. I think this is going to be a good tank. When used correctly, I think it's going to be a good tank. Now look at the armor profile of this when you are hold down. At the moment, we're just seeing if there is any of the weak points again, if just like the other tanks, if we can hit below, hit the side, but it doesn't look like it on this tank. Now just look how red that turret is. If you can go hold down, I mean, look at that. We are using APCR now in a hold down position. We just can't pen. Now it does have a tiny hatch on the top, which is pennable, but if you're moving, then that's going to be a very difficult pen. As you can see, the bottom plate is very low, so pay attention to that, and it definitely use your turret if you can. You have to use your turret. Get in these hold down positions, hide that bottom plate, and I think this tank can be actually a very good tank. I mean, look at that. We've just switched to APCR from AP. Nothing changes from the turret. However, a couple of my friends went into the test server and one of them chose a Tiger 2. When he switched to Pramo, he could pen that turret all day long. Now, these are going to be good tanks. I think the only bad thing really about these tanks is the penetration. The penetration isn't the best. Even on the premium ammunition. It's still not that good. It's still not that good with the premium ammunition. So use it. Use the strengths of the tank, and pretty much the only strength of these tanks is that turret. the turret is just amazing, absolutely amazing. As you can see here, the rear of your tank pretty much has no armor, so do be aware of that. As I've said, we're not going to look at the stats of the tanks, we're just going to have a look at the tanks, and we're going to go through the stats once the tanks come out. So next up is the Emile 2. Again, I think this is going to be a pretty good tank. This is an auto reloader once you get to the top gun. Again, it has a lovely turret, HEable from the side and the rear, so again, do pay attention to that, kind of like the AMX 50B, where the side of it is rear. Now this tank is going to be trolled because at the back of the turret, as you can see now, it looks grey. It looks grey in the middle, so when this is going to trick a few people. As you can see right now, this is me and Fizzy, we've just joined. It looks grey, we're trying to pen, and it's just going straight through. Wait until I get a bit closer and have a look. I mean, I can even have a look on my own tank. It's actually like a sandbag. It's actually like a sandbag, but that is going to troll a lot of people, because when you're looking at it like this, you think it's part of the turret, but it's not. It's a sandbag, and it looks very troll. So it looks grey, it looks like you can pen it, but just pay attention to that, because you can't pen it. It's not part of the tank. You shoot the sandbag and it's just going to go straight through. Again, it does have some hatches either side of the sandbag that is pennable, but I mean, they are tiny. They are absolute tiny, and you can see here, I'm even close up trying to aim at these tiny little hatches. It's not penning. You can pen them. I'm just shooting it wrong. I'm just being a noob. But you can pen them. And this is APCR at the turret, heat of the turret. You can see the turret then becomes, I mean, the penetration, it gets a bit better going from the tier 9 and the tier 10. And you can see there we can indeed pen the hatch. So I think this is going to be a good tank. I do think this is going to be a good tank. I'm going to enjoy it playing this tank, but the hull, you can see the hull is very weak. You can pen it anywhere on the hull with APCR, and you're going to get penned probably from tier 8s nice and easy from normal rounds. So again, the whole line is basically turret. The whole line is all about the turret. The turret is just insane. Lovely turrets for the whole line, from the tier 6 from the tier 6, they've all got nice turrets, and I mean, you can shoot the rear here with HE. We're going to damage his ammo rack as well, so do pay attention to that. Do keep that in mind when you're coming up against one of these. If you've got the rear of them, just shoot the rear of the turret with a bit of HE, and hopefully you'll get the ammo rack. Now the Kran Vong, I don't even know how to say this. Kran Vong, I don't freaking know. Now this tank, I love this tank. I tested the tank when it first came out, and it was a bit OP. I mean, look at that turret again. The turret's crazy. Wargaming did nerf it. We've tested it twice. So Wargaming did nerf it, and how they nerfed it was they took the speed, because it was quite a quick tank. I'm not exactly sure how quick it was. It was like 40-45 kilometers an hour. So it was really quick. So they've dropped that down to 30 kilometers an hour. So that it is pretty slow now. But I don't get Wargaming's logic, because they nerf the speed and then they give it the extra, the special speed boost that goes really quick. And for me, that then just that speed boost makes the tank pretty good. Doesn't matter if it's doesn't matter if the speed's only there for a short time, especially if you're on a small map like mine's. You can just use it, get into position, go hold down, and you're there already. You don't then need the quick speed of your tank to move. Like, you can just stay in that hold down position, and that's the only way really this tank is you can get the true strengths out of this tank, is when you go hold down, because the turret is very strong, not from the rear, as you can see, not from the, you can shoot HE at yourself, but I mean, it's going to be a good line. I think it's going to be an enjoyable line. I'm not going to rush to get the Kran Vong. I mean, I've played it nearly 300 times. I already have like 107 aces on it through the test. So I'm looking forward more, for me, I'm looking forward to the tier 8. Yeah, it's an auto loader, it's not an auto reloader. However, the tier 9 and the tier 10 are auto reloaders. But to be honest, in my opinion, it might change when they come live, but I am looking forward to the tier 8. I think the tier 8 is going to be the tank to mess with, and it's going to be a good tank. So there is a few other little buffs, little nerfs, nothing special, and of course the Kran Vong is going to get 2 camos. This camo I like. I think that's a pretty cool looking camo. I mean, I might get that. I might get that one. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if these are coming with the tank or if they're coming at a different time. But these are, I mean, this next, it's a bit in your face, but the Swedish people, I think, are going to like that. Just like the French camo, the British camo on the Chieftain Mark 6, and you have the Swedish flag. So that is basically it. Again, a few minor buffs like the E100 and the Chieftain Object 140. They're getting all their like gun mantlets buffed, but like 5mm or something stupid. Nothing really to write home about. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With